So here's the first aha moment I had as an entrepreneur. Hi, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I want to start on a series that I was encouraged to do by a friend of mine, Jim Stoneburner. And Jim encouraged me to talk about aha moments that I've had along the way in my 10 plus years in entrepreneurship as a startup founder, however you want to look at it. There have been a lot of lessons I've learned, and I wrote about some of those in one of my very first books called Lessons from a Failed Startup. It talks about my time as the founder, my first time as a founder of a startup called GoGrabLunch.com, business to business networking for people who had never met. A lot of people call it business dating. And so there were a lot of lessons I learned along the way, and Jim just encouraged me to share those with people in a series so that you could have those takeaways and learn from them yourselves and maybe not make some of the same mistakes I've made. Now, before we get into these aha moments, or the first aha moment, what I want to share with you is that making these mistakes can be okay. And the reason I share that is I just this past week had a discussion with another startup founder, and we were talking about this being his fourth startup, and it's the one where he has made it the furthest. He's had the most traction, he's had the most interest, he's actually had the most success. He's already got over $20,000 in recurring revenue per month, and he's doing quite well. But it took all these mistakes he's made along these ways, all these aha moments from lessons that he learned, making those mistakes to get to where he is today. I've often said that, or quoted that it's said that, for most entrepreneurs, it's their third or fourth attempt before they have a whole lot of success. Now, I can't frankly tell you where I've heard that quote, but to me, it rings true regardless of whether the source was accurate or not. Having success as a first-time entrepreneur is not common. You have to learn these lessons. So don't be afraid of failure. Don't be afraid of making mistakes and learning some of these aha moments. So my very first aha moment was realizing that entrepreneurship and running a startup is not for everyone. I wrote about this a little bit in my most recent book, The Ladder or the Grind, where I talk about the career choices between being a professional, working for someone else, or working for yourself. And entrepreneurship is tough. And that was one of the biggest light bulb moments I have, was realizing that this isn't all fun and games. It's not always rainbows and unicorns, and it's going to be ridiculously hard as an entrepreneur, as a startup founder, to navigate through the process. Even with really good mentors, it was hard as a first-time entrepreneur, as a second-time entrepreneur, and even today with my entrepreneur endeavors, it's still really, really difficult. So it's okay if you're struggling with that, and it's okay to realize that, this may not be for you. This life as an entrepreneur, this hustle mentality, high growth startups, it's not for everybody, folks. It is one of those things where you need to have a unique set of traits, skills, and experiences to be successful. Some of those traits are you do have to have a lot of perseverance. There are going to be so many times when you do want to quit that you shouldn't. It's the whole 3 feet from gold story. If you haven't heard of that, Google it. There are going to be times where you're so close to success, you just can't see it, that you're going to want to quit. And you're going to want to sort of give up and walk away. And you know what? In some instances, doing that is okay. In some instances, giving up on your idea does make sense. A great example is if you're pouring your own money into this idea and it's putting you on the brink of bankruptcy, it probably makes sense to pull the plug and move on. Lots of startups move on. Lots of entrepreneurs cash in on deals or ideas that they had, and they move on to the next thing. So today's aha moment for you is that entrepreneurship, whether it's a lifestyle business or a high growth startup, is not for everybody. You need to think about what it's going to take to be successful, how single-minded focus matters, how it's going to take a lot of your time, your energy, and maybe even a lot of your money to be successful. Is all that worth it to you for just the chance at having success? Maybe even just the chance in some instances as barely replacing your current income. Is it worth all that? Now, I'm not trying to discourage you from going out and chasing your dreams. I actually want you to do that. I'm just telling you that you need to realize that entrepreneurship and startup industry is not for everyone. If it was, there'd be a lot more people doing it. Some statistics even show that less people are starting businesses. I don't know that that's true right now with COVID-19 and all the unemployed people. I'd say a lot of people are starting at least side hustles to try and get some income going while they look for a job. But I have heard it said that I believe the Kauffman Foundation did a study and saw that the net growth of startups is down because some people are realizing that they just rather work an 8 to 5 and go home at the end of the day instead of grinding away for 20 hours a day or 24 hours a day in the startup scene just for the chance at replacing an income, maybe being able to sell a business. So I'm not trying to discourage you, just trying to be real and share with you some aha moments. I can tell you that there have been plenty of times I've questioned the things that I do. As a matter of fact, even as recent as this weekend, I was questioning, why am I spending so much time doing all the things I do? I had to really rely on my why I'm doing them instead of focusing on the outcomes. It's not easy, but it is very rewarding when you have an idea and you bring it to life and it hits the marketplace and other people appreciate that idea. It's extremely rewarding. So understand your why, understand your reasons for doing this, and realize that overnight success is rare. And a lot of times it means overnight 10 years worth overnight effort, right? 10 years of overnight effort before you have that success. And maybe your third or fourth endeavor before you have a lot of success. Until next time, I hope you find your voice. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.